Hey there friends, Foster the Canadian here, bringing you another Fridays with Foster, a now weekly series that I do where I answer you guys' questions, I give you advice, I read stories with you guys, and share my take on them. And if you guys are wondering, the stories are 100% anonymous, so you can send in a story and not have, the fear that I'm going to shine a spotlight on you or embarrass you or, involve you more than you want to be. So, with that being said, I'd like to get on with the gameplay. Now, this gameplay starts out pretty well. I start kicking a lot of ass, but eventually I got way too overconfident in my abilities, and I start to peter off near the end, but I still think it's good gameplay footage for the first half. And this isn't really about the gameplay, it's more about the stories that you guys have, and without any further ado, let's go on to story number 1. Hey, I would need some advice. Well, you see, I'm now 14 and I live in Finland. I haven't been on a date or had a girlfriend for 3 years now. I was wondering if it was weird that I haven't dated for that long. Also, because I'm not good in getting a girlfriend, and I haven't gone out on a date with one for a long time, even though I have helped my friend on getting a girlfriend, I can't. I need some help. Thank you for reading this, have a nice day, and don't stop what you're doing on your channel. First off, I'd like to thank you for the channel compliment, those are always nice. Now let's get to the question. So you're 14, you haven't been on a date or had a girlfriend for 3 years. When I hear that, all I'm thinking is that's pretty normal, I'd say. Most people that I know haven't even had a girlfriend until after they were 14. So the fact that you've had a girlfriend already before now means that you are ahead of the curve, my friend. And, let that be a little bit of a confidence booster for you. Now, you live in Finland, and you sent me another message to make it a point that you are not Finnish, but an American living in Finland. And that actually is some, that's pretty important. Now, in American culture, I'm pretty familiar with how things work as far as dating goes. I know what the average age is, and, when people usually start dating in Canada and America, and in Finland, I'm not as familiar with it. I'm not sure if people start dating later on or if they start dating earlier or whatever, but for the sake of this, I'm going to say that it's probably around the same as it is here in Canada and the US. Now, it's not weird that you haven't dated for that long, but I can see that you really do want to get back in the dating scene. And the first thing you need to do is, gain some confidence and, put yourself out there a bit. Now, when I tell you to put yourself out there, I'm not saying go up to every girl you think is cute and go, hey, you're pretty cute, why don't we go out? I'm saying, you're 14 years old, you're probably in high school unless you're homeschooled or some other situation I'm not aware of. And in high school, that is your best social situation to actually start, going out on dates. And when you're out of high school or college, or maybe you didn't even go to college, it's a lot more difficult to actually meet girls that you can go out with. And in high school, you can just walk up to a girl and go, hey, I saw you in math class, and I was wondering if we could hang out sometime, maybe study. And it doesn't have to mean a relationship. Just go out and try to get to know some girls. Just, be friends with them, get to know them. I'm not trying not to get, friend zoned or whatever, but at least get to know them before you initiate something. That is pretty important at your age. It's a lot more likely that they'll go out with you if you get to know them first and go, hey, here it is. I'm interested in you, and I was wondering if maybe we could start a relationship here and, move on from there. That's probably the best route that you can go, and I hope this advice helps you. Let me know. I was at the mall this time last year, and I heard a dude yelling at his girl in the center where all the seats are. I found it hard not to pay attention to what he was saying as he was insulting her and calling her some horrible names. I was just going to walk away, but I heard him hit her, and that was it. She was a big chick and could probably hold her own in a fight, but you don't hit girls. And when I saw that, I tackled him down and punched him twice in the face. Mall security then came up to us and pulled me off of him. They let him go, but took me into their office. I tried to explain I was just stepping in because he hit his girl, but they didn't care about what he did, just that I ended up hitting him. I told off the guard and threw his stuff off his desk, and they gave me a fine that I had to explain to my parents. Anyways, that's my story, so I thought it was worth it to send to you. What do you think? What do I think? First off, I'm not a violent prone person, but kudos for stepping in. There's something about a guy hitting a girl that just makes my blood boil. It's one of those sights that, you know, I'm not sure I would be able to hold back. I would definitely have to intervene in some way. I probably wouldn't tackle the guy down and hit him twice in the face, but I definitely don't blame you for taking that action if that is what happened, because you said you heard him hit her, not that you saw him hit her. So, aside from that, there's a part of me that wants to be upset with you for, going to violence right off the bat, and then telling off the guard and throwing his stuff on his desk. That guy's just doing his job. But there's another part of me that's like, good for you, buddy. Stepping in when you're needed, trying to be the hero for the damsel in distress, which is something that I can really admire, really, because I don't know, it's one of those things where if you see a guy hit a girl, regardless of if she's big and can hold her own in a fight, all bets are off. That's when you step in and you go, all right, you know what? It's now one-sided fight, but it's one-sided for her and me against you. So that's my take on the story. I've never been in a situation where I've had to step in or have seen something like that happening. And if I did, I'm not sure I would act that differently. I probably would have stepped in, and if he was violent prone, gloves are off. It's hockey style, buddy. So yeah. Thanks for sending the story, and I hope that you get my take on it. One thing I do want to say is, that sucks that you have to explain that fine to your parents, but I didn't even know security mall guards could issue fines. But I'm sure that they'd understand if you basically said, look, I know I acted irrationally, but I felt I had to step in. He was hitting his girlfriend or whatever, and I'm sure that they'll probably understand it, even if they're mad at first. It's not something that is worth a major scorning by them. At least that's what I think. Hey Foster, I need some advice. If I like a girl, how do I approach asking her out in the right way? I've never been nervous about talking to girls until I met this one girl. So pretty, so smart, so awesome. How do I ask her out in the right way? Also, we're all dying to know, are you in a relationship? Talk to you later. Don't say my name. LOL. Alright, first off, I probably shouldn't have said LOL, but, internet age, I can say an acronym if I want. Now, as far as your question goes, how do you approach asking her out the right way? Now, I'm going to assume that you're pretty familiar with her, you've hung out a few times, and you're not just some dude at the back of the class going, oh, she's so pretty. Which, if that is the case, if you're a dude at the back of the class, then, man up, walk up to her, and basically say, hey, I've seen you around class, why don't we hang out sometime? It doesn't need to be, relationship-y right off the bat, but I'm assuming that that's not the situation you're in, so let's go with the other route. Now, you already know her, you've hung out with her a few times, and you want to know how you can move from friend to relationship. Now, this is a pretty difficult and scary step that someone can take, and it'd be a lot easier if you had at least an idea of how she felt about you. Now think about it, when you tell jokes, does she laugh right away? When she's talking to you, does she, touch your hand or whatever? And those are hints that she might be interested in you just as much as you are interested in her. Now if that's the case, it's a lot easier, have your moment and go, hey, we've known each other a while now, why don't we become a couple? Or, let's go into that girlfriend-boyfriend kind of area. Now if she is hard to read and you can't really get an idea if she likes you, then, you've got to kind of put everything on the line and say to yourself, is it worth risking the friendship for a possible relationship? And that's really the moment there that you got to think about. And if the answer is, yeah, it's worth it, you really want to take the next step and, become a couple, then you can't wait for the right moment. You got to go for it. You got to say, look, I'm really interested in you, and I hope you're interested in me, and let's see if we can take this to the next step. And I know it's scary, but that's the thing you gotta do. You can't wait around forever, because she's not gonna wait around forever. I don't know, that's a pretty tough situation, and I hope everything goes well for you. As far as me being in a relationship goes, that's something that I get asked a lot, so I figure I might as well mention it. I am not currently in a relationship. And it's kind of weird that I'm giving all this, relationship advice while I'm not in one, but, when you're my age, you do get a lot of life experience that you can pass down, and, not that I'm 70 years old here and have been around the world and seen everything. But, you know, any amount of experience that I have that I could possibly pass down to someone else that maybe hasn't had the same experience is, I think, a benefit. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, maybe you want to check out last week's video, which was pretty good. It was poop, fire, and girlfriend drug problems. If that doesn't get you interested, I'm not sure what will. Now, if you want to send in a story, just send me a private message and title it Storytime with Foster, or, you know, I need advice, anything like that, and I'll probably put it in the next episode if I think it's really good. Until next time, this is Foster the Canadian, saying see ya.